Good evening, folks. Today is Monday, September 29th. It is 5:45 p.m. I actually started my stream at the time I had scheduled it for. And the temperature is a extremely nice 24 degrees Celsius. I see a lot of people in the chat already. Let me just check the video and audio. Today is Monday, September. Sounding all right, looking all right. Hey, Alicia, Madano, Original 6, Brad Palmer, Christos, John Nicholson, Lisa, wondering if the music was off. Sounded okay to me. Gertej is here. Mark Foley, Mark M, Raptor Ball, Jeffrey Wu, Marg D. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Jason Lynch. Yeah, it's a beautiful Friday. I am finally getting out of the apartment. I know I say I don't normally schedule my streams, but it is Monday, and if I haven't streamed in a few days, you can bet your ass I'll be going live. I did notice that a certain other streamer had one set, so I just gave him a heads up. I think he might have bumped it a little bit to prevent some overlap. So, cheers, Ken. Carlos is here. Michael Nguyen, the Laughing Man. Did I put Friday in the title? Or did I say Friday? It's Monday. Monday, September 29th. Elisa said it's a beautiful Friday. Oops. Steve Giles says, hello from Halifax. It's your birthday. So I'm here at the North Toronto Collegiate High School in Midtown, and we're gonna get moving south, but rather than take Yonge Street or Avenue Road or Bayview, we're gonna be taking Mount Pleasant. Carolyn, I said beautiful Friday. Whoopsie doopsie. It's all good. I had to get out and get some nice weather, and I did something incredibly stupid. The other day, here, let's just walk around the track. We'll let this girl go a little bit so she doesn't think I'm following her with the camera. The other day I made the exclusive members video for channel members and Patreon supporters for September. And when I backed up all my videos into my backup drive, I then go on to my working drive and delete all the current videos. Well, I accidentally deleted the exclusive members video I made. And no, I didn't accidentally back it up. And if you use Windows, you know, when you delete things, when you hold Shift and hit delete, it does not send it to the recycling bin. It just sends it off into outer space. And the only way to get it back is to use a data recovery tool. And even then, there's no guarantee in case that part of the drive has already been written on. So, yeah, I do not have an exclusive members video. So maybe after this one, I'll have to pull something out of my ass. And I'll remake the one that I did. So at least I can do that in the coming weeks. Just like all these fancy people getting their exercise on, we're walking around the track. Good to see you at Roehampton. That's where I'm heading. I'll avoid Yonge Street in Midtown. Here, let's take the wide angle off. Greetings, Aiden Thompson McGuire. So we'll just walk over to Redpath, down to Eglinton, then at Mount Pleasant, I'll go south. And I'm just gonna keep going south. Good to see you, Marie Palmer. James Carter, Toronto's doo-wop music guy, is here. Friendly reminder to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and all that fun stuff. We're about 80 or 90 subscribers away from 140,000. I know the next real milestone is 150K. That's still kind of neat. Channel should get there this week as long as YouTube doesn't do a big subscriber purge. This is one of those 110-yard football fields that the Canadian Football League is trying to make go extinct. Lisa says good views from the track. Oh, we can say goodbye to those good views from the track. Greetings, Carlito's Way. Now leasing, so that's a rental building. Thank you, Marlene. Not quite at 140K, but almost. You can actually get the exact number. It hides it from you guys, but 139,922. Greetings. Buttery Sprite. There's an interesting name. Look how long my shadow is. Close but no cigar. Probably won't get there on this stream, even if I beg everyone to subscribe, so there's really no point. $78 to go. And then it's what, party time? Tomorrow night we got the Red Sox and Yankees to look forward to. I don't think Toronto has ever played either Boston or New York in the playoffs, so whether it's Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park, I think it's going to be pretty awesome to play either of those teams. James says, go Jays too. Yeah, I think first game will be on Saturday. I'm not sure what time they're slotted in for. Mark says, how many steps so far today? Oh my. Today we are... Let me get up to the current day. Absolutely pathetic. Hello?
Hello.
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Oh, what's your name?
Vivian.
You want to be on the stream?
Yeah. Of course I like to.
You're seeing your stream and he came down.
Awesome.
Hello guys. So this is me, Vivian. This is the second time I'm in a stream like this.
Oh, wow. And you live right in this area?
Yeah.
Well, if you ever see me walking around, feel free to say hi. I'm always walking around. Always
Okay.
shopping, getting lunch. All right, well, nice to meet you.
Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you for coming down. Cheers, have a good one.
You too, bye.
That lady just said, am I in the presence of a star? Very cute, energetic kid, and good on his dad for bringing him down. I'm gonna cross the street here. It saves me from having to cross at Eglinton. Shout out to the youth. There's a place coming up on the left that I used to order from on Uber Eats all the time. But I've stopped doing that unless I'm very sick or hungover. The Harp Tavern. That place has been changing quite often. Hopefully that one sticks around. The new Shake Shack is opening up just around the corner to the right. There it is, Pita Light. I'd often get their shawarma rice bowl. Kind of miss that place. Should really start walking my ass over here and picking up some food from there. There's another place I used to go to, Popeyes. So Mount Pleasant Road is coming up. I'm gonna hang a right and we'll go south. And Jeanette, if you're there, hope you're feeling better. Oh, you are there. Last night on the Stumble Stream, you said you were dealing with some allergies. Sorry to hear that. Crystal says Pita Light is dog food, Royal Shawarma is better. I think I disagree. Royal Shawarma is cheaper. I quite like the shawarma rice bowl from Pita Light. I'm no food expert though. It's either a thumbs up or thumbs down ordeal. There's Eglinton Public School sitting on a very prime plot of land. And this is eventually where the Mount Pleasant Crosstown LRT stop will be. Hey, Karen on the Humber is here. Greetings. Vivian J in the house. Just open up and let us ride it already. And south we go. So it'll be through Mount Pleasant Village and a bit of a residential area that transitions into more of a high-speed road. Cutting through Rosedale, and then it'll be downtown. And that place over there, the Granite Brewery, They make, I don't know if we caught that, they make some fantastic wings. Quite the fan of that place. And if you're driving there, you can just park underneath and they will validate your parking for you. Or rather, they'll give you a token that you can use. The Humber River Salmon Run is reaching Eglinton. I was not aware of that. Christos, we will see. We should be walking by there pretty soon. Carlitos says I sold him on the wings. It's a smoke show. That lot has been vacant for a very long time. Chris Mill says, good food and beer. What more do you want? Have sure words ever been typed into a YouTube chat before? Susa, Bolin Thai cuisine. I mentioned I tried a new Indonesian restaurant on Danforth on Saturday. That was quite fantastic. And speaking of Thailand, I have a good friend who just landed in Thailand. Making me all jealous. I don't think I'll be there this winter, at least not in the 2025 portion. This is Sudan. There's one of the surviving Starbucks. They took an axe to a number of stores. Just as Vancouver says a bunch of Starbucks are closing in BC. Yeah, Toronto too. And they closed a whole bunch of them during the pandemic. And they just opened a bunch of stores, and some of the ones they just opened are closing. That's what happens when head office just decides to cut their losses and take an axe to things. Choppy says Thailand sounds seedy as anything. Well, it's also paradise for food and beaches. And 4- and 5-star hotels for a fraction of what you would pay here.
Take care, guys.
Encounter God in this place, the Father's house, Sundays at 11 a.m. I don't think I'll ever be awake early enough for that. Starbucks should start selling red wine to get their business. That would be an interesting experiment, but then they would have to like smart serve their baristas, and that would cost a fortune. White Rabbit Cannabis. The Starbucks just closed in Picton. That's kind of crazy. I went to the Timmy's in Picton. I also went to a few local cafes. Well, of course they're local, but locally owned. Yeah, Carlito's Way, I think that's just the way they go. And I think there's going to be a big demand for those white on the front, blue on the back, kind of OG style Jays hats that they've been wearing lately. Wayne says this is where Barbara Streisand orders fish and chips when she's in Toronto. Some lovely artwork. Karen says, I know we won't have Montanas ever again. Is that a huge loss? Montanas and Outback were all over the suburbs in the 90s and early 2000s. Snapdragon, that's the name of a processor. There's a cafe and breakfast spot. I live just a little bit too far to frequent the places here regularly. Or at all, to be truthful, but it's certainly a really nice little neighborhood. There's a Toronto Public Library. Just squished into an old retail shop. Have I made a New York City trip this year? No. I last went to New York City, I think, in 2021. But I'll be getting on a plane going somewhere before New Year's, as I always do. Yeah, med spa clinic. And a hair clinic. I need to get a haircut. And then hopefully in like February or so, will be another big trip. And probably something like the Caribbean again in March or April. Midtown Med Spa, anti-aging and laser skin clinic. Does that really work? I like where this is, the Regent. Coming soon, not a condo. The world's hottest gummy bear. It's exciting to discover your next favorite flavor at the goodie bag. It's an old school candy shop. Frickin' lasers indeed, Chris Bills. That's a cute wall. The Bell Size across the street. Full serve gas station. That lady was like, is this really full serve? There's a cool mural. I almost said cool. New puppy or kitten, start them on the right paw. Davisville Park Vets. Wonder if there's any softball going on. It's probably too late. I think all those leagues have wrapped up, but usually in the summer this diamond would be well utilized coming up. Davisville Tennis Club. Full service gas station. You mean tacos? Christo says, how on earth did these stores survive? The rent alone, most of them look desolate. I'm sure the market adjusts. The rent can't be unsustainably high. And it's a relatively well-to-do area. I'm sure the margins on what they sell are decent. Bertish says he found out today there's a Simpsons movie 2 on the way. Yeah, the first one was half decent. Davisville Village Farmers Market, Tuesday 3 to 7, May to October. At June Rowlands Park, the first female mayor of the city of Toronto. And I think that park features the Sharon, Lois, and Bram playground. We got a red light anyways. Dedicated leader and woman of firsts. She was elected to city council in 1976. Greetings, Howard Charco. Hope you're doing well. I had one of your cookies last night after the stream and they are really fucking strong, but thanks for tuning in. I watched the rest of the movie Boiler Room. And I went to bed. Now's the part where we leave Mount Pleasant Village. We're right at Mount Pleasant and Davisville. And it's going to transition into a bit of a residential area. Carlito's Way, you could say that. Christos watched episodes 5 and 6 of Black Rabbit last night. Hi, Carolyn. I haven't been to the movies in forever either. And I can't say I really miss it. You get a nice high bitrate movie at home in HDR or Dolby Vision. If it's like an action movie or something with a good soundtrack, having a subwoofer and Dolby Atmos certainly helps. Carlita's Way says, today I learned Johnny does edibles. You have not seen the Johnny Stumbles channel very much, have you? Hey, we gained a few more subscribers. Thank you. We are just 74 away from the big 140K. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. There's an SO I sometimes go to when I'm returning a rental car. Carlita's Way says, I have a Cineplex right beside me. Yeah, but spending 20 or 25 bucks on a movie and then sitting next to someone who shoves popcorn in their mouth, that sound just drives me bananas. Listening to other people chew and crinkle things. If I sit too closely to someone doing like that, I'm going to seriously contemplate choking them to death, which happens every time I go to a movie theater. Why they serve the most loud, obnoxious, crinkly stuff in a movie theater, I don't know, but I've always been that way. That type of thing just gets to me. I was never able to study in libraries because there would always be some idiot flipping through the pages of whatever book they're reading as loud as possible when we're having a conversation. Jennifer Gala is here. Greetings, Jennifer. Lisa says, I can barely sit through a movie in my living room. Well, that too. You can just hit the old pause button, come back and resume it. Marlene says the chewing drives you crazy too. And then you get some obnoxious idiot who's chatting. You get people checking their phones, which is like is super distracting, seeing the light on someone. Like, it's just, I don't know. When I'm at home, it's just so much more comfortable. And with the big OLED TV, I'm not really missing out on anything, as long as you sit close enough to it. Christo says, I had a friend in high school that was a loud eater. It wrecked the friendship. All right, so the next, I'm not gonna lie, 25 minutes or so is gonna be kind of like this. Mount Pleasant Cemetery on the right and on the left. Chris says, Imagine Cinema's $8 weekday matinees and super comfortable reclining seats. Indeed. I used to go to the Imagine on Front Street East that was a rainbow a long time ago. I've been there a few times since they converted over to an Imagine and installed those comfortable chairs. Carlita's Way once saw a couple doing quote-unquote hand stuff to each other at the movies. Yeah, if other people are able to notice them doing that, they're obviously doing it wrong. Jennifer Gallus says, QD OLED is amazing. You just saw the S90F at Costco today. They're already up to the Fs. I have the S92C, I think. Howard Charco says it's a large profit margin on popcorn. I remember being a kid just drinking these unholy size tubs of pop at the movies. You'd buy a small and it would be like the size of a small bucket of KFC chicken. Like, how much damn sugar is in that thing? And that was back when I didn't even drink diet. I think movie theaters were the ones who popularized those ridiculously unhealthy sized portion drinks. There's a look into Mount Pleasant. I remember sneaking food from the Dollarama or wherever else into the theaters, just pick up a whole bunch of Junior Mints, get a can of Coke, wait for the quietest moment in the movie to crack that thing open. Coming up eventually will be St. Clair Avenue, and then it'll be south through Moore Park and then Rosedale. Yes, the Rosedale. You ever do a cemetery walk, Johnny? Yes, I've done a few, and I've done a few live streams going through the cemetery. RD says Mentos plus Coke. Matt Doctor says Dollarama stock up 32%. Yes, that's as good a stock as any. If you just want something reliable to anchor your portfolio. They call it Canada's Costco. It's kind of recession proof. They're buying up a whole bunch of dollar stores in Latin and South America. I think they've saturated the Canadian market, but they're still growing like a weed. A lot of these streets are super nice. I need to do an updated Moore Park walk at some point. I've done a few and I think they did quite well, view-wise. Jillian says Toy Story 1 is going to turn 30 in September. Well, the 5 Drive-In is still there in Oakville. That's where I saw that Star Trek growing up, where all the whales were in it. That's all I remember. There was a scene with whales. It was one of the original Star Trek movies. My dad and my brother were into them. Me, not so much. Arlene says they just upgraded the Dollarama at Yonge and St. Clair. Just below Bloor. It's nice and huge. And we've got 2 pretty big ones right at Yonge and Eglinton across the street from one another, and both of them are always doing a healthy business. This is Heath Street on the left. So this runs all the way west through Forest Hill And then just before Bathurst, it becomes Chichester. But it also gets interrupted by the subway line, if I'm not mistaken. No, by the ravine, actually. So it's not continuous. Just like St. Clair coming up isn't continuous. It stops at the ravine, one of the many that cuts through Rosedale, and it resumes over on the other side. Star Trek IV, The Search for Whales. There we go. I was just a little shit, probably complaining that I got dragged to the drive-in to see a Star Trek movie. Should be another full moon. Well, if I locate it, we'll aim the camera that way. Here's the street in my mind I always think of as being Rosa Park, but it's Rose Park Drive. And the house with all the giant inflatable Santas, or the street with all the giant inflatable Santas, is just to the south of here, but they do all these big, I think, Frosty the Snowman on Rose Park Drive. Greetings, Magic Eraser. Lisa says that's another thing, drive-ins hated them. Some of them would have the speaker that you'd like clip onto your car window. And some of them would just have like an FM station you would tune into. Tate says, come on, Johnny, pump up those Blue Jays. Let's get the hype going. Let them relax. They've got till Saturday. Let's hope the Yankees, Red Sox beat each other up for 3 straight games and go deep into the bullpen each game. I don't think we'll see Bichette right away. I think he'll probably miss the ALDS. And I wouldn't be mad if Santander was on the bench in favor of Lucas or Straw for much of it. There's the 88A South Lee Side to St. Clair Station. So this is St. Clair Avenue East. Greetings, Harjat. Who am I hoping for, Sox or Yankees? I kind of want to beat the Yankees in the playoffs. So I'm going to say Yankees reluctantly, because I think playing playoff baseball in Fenway Park would be extra cool, more so than new Yankee Stadium. But either way, I just want that series to go 3 games. And for each game, for both teams to get well into the opposing team's bullpen. Best case scenario. I love the new kid, you savage. Yeah, if Bassett comes back, I really don't think Max Scherzer should be trotted out to the hill for any starts. And their bullpen has finally got their shit together too. Oh, look at that. On top of that apartment building. You often hear stuff like that is not good for the health of the people close to it. But at least we should have a nice strong signal from here with that thing up there. Oh, there's the moon. Well, half of it. All right, Jeanette. Have a safe trip home. Thanks for dropping in. Hey, we hit over 400 viewers. Thank you, guys. Just 72 more subscribers to go to hit 140K. Look at that. The super tall that has topped out, apparently, towering over the still very tall One Bloor East, and you can see the tip of the CN Tower just to the left. CN Tower, One Bloor East, One Bloor West. Some nice homes. Jillian says it's the DreamWorks logo, almost. Here's a controversial opinion. DreamWorks is better than Pixar. At least they try to put some adult humor into their movies. Although they're a lot more hit or miss than Pixar. This is Clifton Road, so we begin our descent down into the valley. That's a beautiful area, a tad pricey though. That's an understatement. It is extreme to both of those descriptions. This is Inglewood. This is the street that is known for all the giant inflatable Santas in the wintertime. Oh, that sign says sidewalk ends ahead, use east side. Well, let's just go learn this the hard way. Jenny Krutzkamp is here. Greetings, Jenny Krutzkamp. Good evening to you. Greetings, Diva Tequila. Nature Trail, yes. I did a video walking through this area along the Yellow Creek not too long ago. We are all out of sidewalk. Whatever this is ain't so bad. Maybe we'll head over to the east side. John, you can, I believe. I took my single speed down there once. Amazon is selling a 10-foot inflatable Santa Claus for $90. I think the ones they use on Inglewood are the 14-footers from Canadian Tire. But those inflatable lawn decorations have really taken over. You thought we were going to see a hiking stream here? We'll stick to Mount Pleasant. This will turn into Jarvis Street eventually. Canadian girl asking where in TO are we tonight? We are going south down Mount Pleasant, south of St. Clair. Heading towards downtown, just getting my steps in, getting some fresh air in. I told the story about how I accidentally deleted the members' video for September, so maybe after this I'll get to recording. It's nice to get off the busy streets that I only seem to be streaming on lately. Yes, we are heading south, Jillian. He says, nice evening lighting. Man, one Bloor West. You're going to be able to see that thing from anywhere. Well, you kind of already can. This is the CP rail line coming up, so if you're wondering where we are in proximity to Yonge, this is about where Summer Hill is. Pleasant, Mount Pleasant, golden hour. Yeah, I should have used that for the title of this stream. We're about to dive down towards the bottom of the ravine in a moment. Hopefully RD. Greetings, Trojan Elk Explorer. I really like flying down here on my bike. This and Bayview, they're kind of similar runs. They're downhill and they're curvy. And you get neat views off in the distance. Would I be allowed to go live through Rogers Center during a game? There was a guy who did that. He streamed the Yankees-Orioles game. He was way out in right field, but he streamed the whole damn game, and I have no idea how that stream didn't get taken down. Upper Beaches has a good downhill for biking. Yeah, but it's a bitch going in the other direction. Start at the RC Harris treatment plant and try to get yourself up to Danforth, and you'll find yourself having quite the workout. Greetings from Amsterdam. I was there 4 years ago. I'm sure I'll be back at some point. Hey, a pedestrian. He was probably not expecting to see a guy with a camera. Peter, try clicking the bell and clicking it back on. That might do it. Hi from Japan. Early Tuesday morning here. Quickly looking before work. Brings back Toronto memories. Where in Japan are you tuning in from? It was a year ago I was in Japan. And earlier this year I went back to Japan. There's someone jogging coming up behind me. Yeah, Christos, it's certainly annoying to do that. Are there people in there? I can only assume. I would go a little more into the woods. Look, there's a hubcap. I was just about to say, what if a car jumped the curb? I wouldn't put it past some of these Toronto drivers. Has anyone ever biked up Pottery Road without stopping? Does it count if I did it on an e-bike? John says, any fitness nerds here in the chat? I don't think I totally qualify for one, but I did a video where you can see my whole fitness routine, which I've actually changed a fair bit since I posted that. Perhaps there'll be an updated video. We're at Roxborough Drive. Roxborough continues over on the other side. Yeah, if I took that nature trail, it would have brought us out right here, so I could have done that. Artie says, not a fitness nerd, you're looking forward to your annual pumpkin pie. Well, as they say, what goes down must come up. Gotta walk up a little bit. All right, Delia, enjoy work in amazing Japan. Christo says being homeless is tough. You once had no power for 4 hours. You felt like a baby. Really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? Our internet goes down and it's like the whole world has ended. The things we take for granted. That's the spirit, Vancouver. Got to make those beer runs. Peter Bradfield, $4.99. There's also Hearts Barracuda, where you Johnny dive down deep to make for the western pools. You silly, silly fool. Oh, I think I was supposed to sing that last part. But thank you, Peter Bradfield, for the super chat and the support. I'm sure someone in the chat got your musical message. Thank you again, Peter B. We are getting very near downtown. Pretty sure that's not a parking spot. Oh, maybe they're like an outreach worker. There's like a whole encampment right in there. I'm guessing that's what that is. Bringing supplies, water, maybe some blankets. Get on that person if that's what's up. And of all places to complain about someone not parking where they're not supposed to, I would let that one slide if I was a cop driving by. Lisa's really glad I didn't sing that last part. I don't know if I just got punked at or not. Alright, so it only took us an hour and 5 minutes to get from North Toronto Collegiate over to Mount Pleasant and all the way down into the heart of Rosedale. Another 5-10 minutes or so, we'll be downtown. And the sidewalk has reappeared on the other side. Muffin the Mule, £2 lovely walk, lovely moon. Well, thank you very much, Muffin the Mule, for the 2 Great Britain pounds. It's much appreciated. Glad you appreciate the walk. It's a little bit different. I've walked up and down Yonge Street, about 10,000 times, camera in hand. I've done all of Mount Pleasant, I think just 2 or 3 times. I was surprised the first time I did this. I was like, oh, this is going to be a boring one. I bet not many people tune in. We had like 500-600 people tuned in. And there's a pretty good turnout tonight, 440 plus. Thank you, Muffin the Mule. Mike T says, 2 quid. From the land where they talk in quid and stone. I still don't know how to say my weight in stone. Steve says, I particularly enjoyed this walk. Johnny, I haven't seen this area in about 35 years. Awesome. Glad you enjoy it. I'll have to do Bayview Avenue just east of here at some point. Although I don't know if there's even a sidewalk along much of that. Vancouver, that's a sad theme in every province. Jenny K says, gotta watch something till baseball on Saturday. You got baseball all week? wildcard series. If you're not going to watch anything else, at least watch the Yankees and Red Sox. And we've made it to South Drive. Howard Charco says 14 pounds per stone. Someone else will probably convert that to kilograms. Not that I know my weight in kg. Rosedale Presbyterian. It's a beautiful looking tree. Christo says leaf season starts soon. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, it'll turn me into a Leafs fan. There's Branksome Hall. This is a very hoity-toity private school right in Rosedale. Very expensive, prominent neighborhood. And they've built a pedestrian bridge right across Mount Pleasant. I don't know if I've noticed that before. That must be kind of new. Because this building on the left has been under construction for the longest time. Jenny K hasn't paid your Sportsnet yet. Timmins Transit went on strike this morning, so you're here for this live event. Hey, whatever brings you here, I'm grateful for it. Matt Doctor says the Leafs signed Stallers for a bargain. Krista says glad more churches are supporting the pride flag. I think with churches, it's just a matter of get with the times or face becoming irrelevant. Kind of like how the Pope eventually had to acknowledge that, yes, natural selection is a thing. We weren't just created out of thin air by a magical being. There's a look at the two towers dominating the Young Bloor intersection. This is Elm Avenue. It's a beautiful looking school. It's very stately looking. How long would it take Johnny to walk home from to walk from Young and Steeles to the lake? Ooh, look at that car. I would say maybe 3.5, 4 hours. Probably more, maybe 4. T-Shods did it. She walked all of Young in a stream. Although I think there were some pit stops on the way. I went out when she was in my neighborhood and dropped off an ice cold bubbly and a little snack. He says Google says 3 hours and 3 minutes. That's providing you can do it in one go without stopping. So if Google says 3 hours and 3 minutes, I reckon I could do it in about 2 hours and 20 if I just put the power walk stride on. Might be a little miserable at the end of it. I would have guessed a little longer though off the top of my head. As I'm heading over Rosedale Valley Road, we'll Get a view of it in a moment. Bertage says T-Shots did an 18-hour stream. Yeah, mostly walking 18-hour stream. Well, Lisa, if it's 3 hours and Google assumes a normal walking pace, I think I could maintain the power stride for that amount of time. So you can safely subtract quite a bit off of whatever Google predicts. Johnny needs to do it in a live stream. There we go. Maybe on one of those days where I don't post a video and I just do a live stream, we could attempt it. Just get a few battery banks fired up just in case. I should trademark Power Stride. I bet that's already been claimed. But that overpass right there is Bloor Street East, which is the northern boundary of downtown. So as soon as I cross under that, we will be downtown. And here is a terrifying crossing to make as a pedestrian. Because even though there's a stop sign, you bet your ass almost nobody stops for it unless they have to because of oncoming traffic, but they almost always roll right through the pedestrian crossing. I guarantee you, if I just set up shop right there with the camera and just recorded people going down, tons of people would be rolling right through. Maybe the presence of a person might get some people to actually stop. Krista says start preparing for it. Stretching cardio. I don't think that requires any prep. I'll look at that 3 hour and 30 minute stream and the distance I covered and see how that compares to the length of going from Steeles down to the lake. Because other than stopping to get a nice latte, I didn't really take any breaks on that. But we are downtown. There's the Rogers headquarters. Marlene says, I'm in her neck of the woods now. New dividend. Why is Wealth Simple giving me dividends at 6:58 p.m.? It's a weird time. When will I go to Jane and Keel? I've done Jane and Finch. I think I've walked through Jane and Keel before. So an hour and 17 minutes later, we emerge into downtown A. There's a neat vantage point. One Bloor West, almost perfectly blocking One Bloor East. This is the east side of downtown. And that is Ted Rogers Way right there, but just south of Charles Street East here, it becomes Jarvis Street. So welcome back to civilization somewhat. Now, I'm sure there'll be some line 6 and then eventually line 5 content. Keyword eventually. Kaylee Bird says my favorite show, the Johnny Stride show. It's not the Tom Green show. Thanks for tuning in. This is Isabella Street. This is a center for people living with HIV and AIDS on the left, the Casey House. Looks like there might be some kind of thing going on in the front. Howard says the rest of this week will be just like today. It's a box spring. You don't see too many box springs anymore. Alfred says the Tom Green show, that was old. Indeed it was. So one of the original Kenny vs. Spenny homes, or the original, was just over there, if you watch that show, for the first season. And then they moved to a house on Sherburne Street, just a little southeast of here. Johnny, can you get to the Metro Toronto Convention Centre from the path at Union Station? Indeed you can. It's not very difficult to do that, but you can also quite easily just take Front Street. But there should be a way to get in there through the path. There are doors that lead to it. There's the Jarvis Mansion, which means coming up on the left is the Keg Mansion. Not sure what that horn was all about. Greetings, JD. Vincent Massey, Raymond Massey. But the Keg is a popular chain steakhouse. And this is the keg of all kegs. I recommend having a meal here if you haven't tried it. Johnny, whenever someone writes or says they're living in a jungle in the city, I get worried that perhaps I've entered the 1995 film of Jumanji, the Robin Williams version, not the Rock version. But there it is. Great spot to go on your birthday. They'll give you a nice slice of cake if they know it's your special day. Okay. Scratch my arm. Sorry about that. This is Wellesley Street. Kaylee says that keg looks fancy. It's quite nice. Not sure why she's going the wrong way there. Not the smartest thing to be doing. Wellesley Station off in the distance over there. There's Jarvis Collegiate. It is such a pleasant night to be outside. Lorraine says that's a beautiful keg indeed. It's a bit of a quieter vibe on the east side of downtown. Clinic Brain Intervention Center. There's a lot of these really nice old mansions. This used to be a very well-to-do area back in the earlier days of the city. A lot of the who's who lived in a lot of these former estates. There's a ballet school across the street. Of course, this is a lot of TV shows filmed in this area, give off a New York City vibe. There's the Blake House. Yeah, Philip. Finally, we're getting some fall colors. Oh, look at that. You can see all the ballerinas to be doing their thing. It's like a scene out of a movie. All right. That was just enough time without being a creep. I don't think I've ever seen real ballet happening before. Lisa says Blake House is decent. black swan it. So we are coming up upon Carlton Street. I do have a destination in mind. I think we have enough battery to get there quite easily. That's a vibe to stay at this street corner. Streetcar rolling by. Got this mural in the backdrop. That's the former Primrose Hotel. I think it was about a month ago I walked down here on a stream. Maybe they're doing a film shoot. They got all the pylons out. Looking like they're going to be blocking off part of the street. Lisa would get mad at me if I didn't pan up and show that.
$3,000, but that's all yours.
Hey, Bill Chow is here. Greetings, Bill Chow. Sorry, my chat froze for a moment. Gertej asking what's for dinner? I don't know. That's a good ass question. I'll figure it out. Hey, we just need 65 more subscribers. Then it won't be until some point into the new year that the channel hits 150 unless something crazy happens and I end up on the news again. There's always a good chance if I end up on the news we'll be losing a lot of subs. Local YouTuber Johnny Strides cancels himself. Is a headline I'm surprised hasn't happened yet. Liam says, remember to smash that like button and sub to Johnny, or just click it gently. I don't really think it matters, but thanks, Liam. And there is a local institution. Affectionately known as Hooker Harvey's. From the 70s to early 2000s, this area had a bit of a reputation for a certain activity. You can probably guess what. That's where that nickname came from. But they make a damn good fast food hamburger in there. Thank you, Jennifer Gala. Almost there. This is always a really slow month for getting views and subscribers. A lot of people transitioning back to university and school and that sort of thing. By November, everything's back up and going normally. Mothman with the super chat. I miss Toronto. Can't wait to move back. Stupid decision to move 40 minutes away. Here's $5 to make me jealous. And pushing you to come back. Mothman. Sounds like you moved out to suburbia if you're 40 minutes away. But thank you so much for the $5 and the super chat. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Thank you very much. Cheers to you, good sir.
2 weeks ago.
Greetings, Jeff Kennedy. So that was Gerard. Next major street coming up will be Dundas, then Shooter, and then Queen. Noni, yeah, I had a house in Milton for not even a year. And then I moved to the St. Lawrence neighborhood. Greetings, Marty M. Oh, they took all the scaffolding off this old Sears office building. Weekly rates, the Inglewood Arms. It's quite an interesting building. Lisa says, dig this building. Why doesn't the GO train go to Peterborough? You'll have to ask Metrolinx. Is there a line that could be configured for it to take up to Peterborough? Jarvis, I don't even want to try to say that second word. This is an intersection coming up that has transformed quite a bit recently. It went from all low rises to 3 mammoth high rises on 3 of the corners, and there was a redevelopment notice for this parking lot here, but that disappeared. So I think that parking lot is safe for all you parking lot fans for now. Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment Launchpad. The Stouffville line could be extended. Speaking of places I used to live, I lived in Stouffville as well for a year. Hopefully that thing is locked up. Alright, we're at Jarvis and Dundas, and as interesting as it is to walk that way, I may have a video where I do just that coming up. Will I be catching a Jays playoff game? I hope so in person. But I'm definitely going to catch everyone on TV. And I might even do some companion live streams on the other channel. A little watch along action. Those dogs are going at one another over there. Yeah, that is correct, Peter. Or Darren, sorry. Hey, turn your lights on, man. How do you not have your automatic sensor on? Or at least your daytime lights that are mandatory. That's weird. Marty M says the chat is so friendly and welcoming. Well, thank you everyone for making it so. Am I near the doggy fountain? About a 15-minute walk from there, but I will be venturing off of Jarvis Street before I get there. So this is Shooter Street and Moss Park coming up. On the left, the Moss Park Armory. Yeah, Lisa, it's crazy. You would think they would just make it so auto is just on by default and can never be turned off. Well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's a rental car and they just assumed it was on auto. I don't know. That might be a stretch, but all right, goodbye Jarvis Street. Hello Shooter Street. I don't know if I want to walk by that person though. Let's cross the street. Oh, use my judgment. That lady was ringing her bell at that car. Understandably so. She just looked right in the camera and stuck her tongue out. Whenever someone does that when I'm pre-recording a video, I often like to snip that part out and put it in the thumbnail. You might have noticed I've done that a few times. We're obviously not someone who's camera shy. A new No Frills has opened up. Pretty much right at Church and Shooter. Not that I'm a fan of the West Ends, but hey, a somewhat affordable grocery store. And Ken lives right around here. That gives him another option to go to. Queen Street just to the south of here. It's a beautiful shot. Sweet Caroline says, "Oh my God, I saw you." Well, feel free to say hi next time. Lisa's a fan of the mural that's coming up. We'll go get a pretty good look at it. It is by a bunch of different artists, we are told. It's called the Paint Your Faith mural. There we go, it's pretty neat. Good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, this view is good stuff. No one needed to see that extra close-up view. So this is St. Mike's Hospital. Coming up in a moment. Speaking of neat views, there's another one. The emerge is just on the left. So ambulances are a very common sight. There's the iconic Massey Hall sign. Fran's restaurant. All right, Jason. This is the O'Keefe Laneway. All right, I guess we're gonna head up to the square. I'm debating if I should get a meal or not. I will have to do that members video because I stupidly deleted it. It's always a lively scene on Yonge Street, even on a Monday evening. Salazar, $2. Enjoying your evening walk, or enjoy my evening walk. Salazar, whoa, we are way too zoomed in. Nobody ever need to see that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. This is Al-Farat, Iraqi street food. And this is Jarvis and Dundas, just up ahead. I've ordered an item for pickup at the Eaton Center. So that was nice of me to walk myself down here from Midtown. Save some transit money as well. There's a guy with a camera on a gimbal. But I want to thank everyone so much for tuning into this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, Bill, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But huge thanks to everyone who sent support during the stream. Huge thanks to our mods. It's good to have you back, Vivian. As well as Medano, Marge. I saw Epic Nation HD in here as well. Thank you, Jasan B, and everyone else. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna roll the outro and figure out what I'm gonna do. You're welcome, Jennifer Gala. And Lorraine McLean from Dundas Square. Thank you so much, guys. It's a little early, but go Jays.